Hello, it's Jane here, and I'm just popping in for a very quick video in order to wish everyone a Happy New Year. I think we can still say Happy New Year. It's not the 6th of January yet. It looks like it's going to be another strange one, but onward and upward. I just thought, to be honest, I haven't been going up to the allotment much over the last couple of months. I'm sure I'm not on my own in that. I know there are people like Paul who goes every day. Paul Savadant, go and see what he's up to. You can't keep him away from the place. I'm a little bit more nesh. And when it comes to dark nights, winter temperatures and mud, I'd far rather be indoors. So the last sort of month or two, I've been getting on with things that I always sort of consider to be my winter doings, my winter hobbies. Would there be hobbies in lieu of gardening? I don't forget about gardening completely. It's constantly going on up there as to what I want to do and get done this year. But yeah, I do tend to hibernate a little bit. I'd be rubbish if I had to depend on food all year round, because you know, give me a choice of going to a well-known supermarket and buying a bag of carrots or going and digging them up in the mud. I'd probably just go to the supermarket. I bet you've never heard another YouTube gardener saying that before. And to be honest, it wouldn't be as special, they wouldn't taste as nice, and you wouldn't have the wonderful experience of digging them up yourself, but yeah, it'd be a lot warmer. So anyway, yeah, just thought I'd touch base really, because again, if I wait until I get down to the allotment and get stuff sorted, I could be another month or two before I put a video out. So, what have I been up to? I'll tell you. Mostly, this happens with me every year. It does. As soon as the nights start darkening, this starts to happen with me. Out comes the wool. And I've actually got a whole basket full of what I call UFOs. And if you're in the yarn sphere, you will know what a UFO is. It's basically an unfinished object. And I've got odd socks, I've got, you know, one glove, I've got a half-finished shawl, I've got basically a basket full of good intentions. And however much I think I really must finish one of those before I get started on another, temptation's too great. So in October, I started knitting a scarf stroke shawl because I got some reduced wool, and I got this far and I thought this would be perfect for like November, December time. Where are we now? January, beginning of January. Half done. And to be honest, it's got to the stage where I'm really not enjoying it. And I think if you're not enjoying it, put it away, put it in the basket of unfinished objects, and you can come back to it another time. But also for Christmas, and this is the last nail in the coffin, for Christmas I got a blanket set it's from a blog, from a lady that I've followed for years now, who's a brilliant crocheter, called Attic 24, Lucy Attic 24, and there's a store where you can go and buy blanket kits very reasonably. If I tell you how much, this blanket kit was £27.50. You get all the wool that you need and the instructions. And it keeps you busy for months. So I've actually started, I swore to myself I wouldn't start this until I finished that scarf, but I did. I started another blanket. Now, I don't need another blanket. Do I want another blanket? It'd be quite nice. Does anybody I know need a blanket? Not particularly. But it's just something I really enjoy doing. And yeah, keeps me busy. And I think when these nights have been so long and dark and cold, and to be honest, things have been a little bit miserable, you've got to do what makes you happy, what makes you feel good. So there are a couple of things I've been up to. I've been doing a lot more reading. Again, it's the time of year where, you know, the weather does tend to force you indoors. So yeah, great to get caught up on books. And in my case, actually, I've been looking at, I've mentioned before, I love all the folklore and all the myths and legends and that sort of stuff. And I've been in contact with the Herbal Society. I did a course. Oh, when was that now? must have been November, I think it was November, all about herb concoctions and that sort of thing. It was really, really interesting. And through them, I've been in contact with the Herbal Society, and these books were recommended. And they're just brilliant. There's one on rowan, which is one of my favourite trees. One on the elder, which I think in the UK, you know, just walking down a country lane, the lanes are full of elder trees, elder blossom, elderberries. And it doesn't just tell you, you know, what we do with them now, but it tells you all about the religious connotations, you know, what the Druids used them for, what we still recognise today from those past beliefs and activities. They're absolutely fantastic. And okay, you know, science has ruled most of what's in these books out because it's giving you an actual explanation about how things work. But I was talking about it the other day on the Facebook page, and it's got things like rowan trees were seen as so magical that they dispelled any evil spirits. So it was commonplace to have a rowan tree outside your house or wherever you lived, have a little rowan tree there. In fact, our next door neighbours have got one, and it would ward off evil spirits. But in places where they herd sheep, where they herded sheep, herded, what's the past tense of herd? Anyway, where they kept sheep, they used to make, not everybody, I'm sure they didn't have time, but there's the legend of the fact they would make a hoop out of rowan branches, and because the herd of sheep was so big and they had to get through quite a lot, they would get the lambs to jump through the hoop, and that would almost like bless the lambs and keep them safe from harm. I know, it seems a bit odd now, but you know what? In 100 years or so, more, if we're all still here, things that we do now will probably seem quite odd to whoever we've got going around then. So yeah, especially my allotment practices. Anyway, so that's something I've been keeping busy with and really enjoying. I've got a couple of other books on the go as well, by the bed, but by the time I go to bed, sort of read one sentence, two sentences, lights out. Other things, of course, I'm sure you're all familiar with at this time of year is seed catalogues. I've got my Sarah Raven here, who I absolutely love the look of her stuff. I love the little videos that she does going around doing her garden. But to be honest, I always find it slightly on the expensive side. But they are great little magazines for inspiration, if nothing else. So I am coveting, I know we shouldn't covet anything, but I am coveting more dahlias this year. So I'm sort of inspired by this sort of colourway. Let me show you. There goes my mic. I swore to myself I wouldn't get up off the chair. There we go, look at that. Look at those beautiful colours. And of course my daughter, who wasn't able to get married last summer when I grew all those flowers for her, is hoping that she'll be able to get married this summer. So we're looking again at different colourways and things like that, but I think that'll be a good start, don't you? If you've got any favourite dahlias, let me know. I'm asking everybody about the favourite dahlias. Oh, and in fact, I've had a really, really lovely communication with a dear old friend from, well, I'd say university days, but it was Polytechnic at the time. And over the years, we've lost touch. And just by pure chance, he sent a Christmas card to this address, we haven't contacted each other for about the last 5 or 6 years, just to see if we were still here. Of course we were. And we've been in contact again, and he was saying, I was asking him what was keeping him busy, and he's really keen on gardening. Favourite things, sweet peas and dahlias. So immediately, you know, we've had that connection again, and he's been recommending all sorts of different things. And that's such a lovely thing. And, you know, again, to find out that someone you've lost touch with has become as interested in gardening as you have, it's just brilliant. It's such a binding thing, I find. Have I overthought that? I may have overthought that. But yeah, I find it just, as soon as somebody else says they like to garden, I feel a bond with them, you know. There's an understanding there. Yeah, so that's been really positive. What else? Another positive. I know I haven't put out a video for a while, but on the Facebook page, I've tried to keep in touch more regularly a few times a week of what's been going on. And one of the things we discovered recently in our shed was the mice had eaten all the seeds. And a few people have said to me, well, why haven't you put your seeds in a tin? Well, if I show you, that's one of the tins, okay, with a lid. I'll be back, hold on. And that's the other one of the tins. There is another one up there actually. Look, it also has a lid. But what do you think happens when somebody doesn't put the lid on properly? Little mice get in. Oh, they have a field day in there. So yeah, the majority of my seeds have not needed to be sorted this year. So in a way they did us a favour because they just munched the lot. I think they didn't like the cabbage. There was 1 or 2 seeds they obviously didn't like, they steered clear of, but most of the things they kept, you know, they loved. So in a way we've got to think that, you know, we've kept the little mice happy and healthy, and that's a good thing. Trying to see the positives. But again, I put on the Facebook page, sorry, just getting comfy. Oh, there we go. I put on the Facebook page that this had happened. And so many people often send me seeds. People use the word humbled, and you know, it can be overused. But I was a bit embarrassed. I was sort of, no, it's okay, it's fine. But how lovely was that? Again, gardeners, what a lovely bunch, you know. So anyway, I did turn most people down because, you know, I don't want people to go to any trouble. But then the other day, was it yesterday, I got these through from Kerry, who, if you remember Kerry, she also sent me, oh, it might just be on the Facebook page, a beautiful hand-painted bauble. So Kerry already had my address. And she sent me some seeds, which actually we haven't got yet. So there's the Chantenay red cord carrot, there's kids' peas, which will suit me down to the ground, and courgettes, which, to be honest, we'd saved seeds from the courgettes, but they've all gone. So that is absolutely brilliant. So again, thank you so much. You know, and I know there's something else on the way. I've been told that, you know, something else is about to arrive, which it's just so lovely. It's so lovely. Saying that, we have also done another seed order. And this time we've been to Chiltern Seeds. And the reason we went to them is because Real Seeds, was it the Real Seed catalogue, what do we normally go with? I think it's Real Seeds. We're saying they couldn't send out all the seeds we wanted at once. There was more or less a queue and we would have to wait. We could only put so many seeds in our basket because they didn't have the staff in the warehouse to get the seeds delivered. So I'm afraid we did go for Chiltern Seeds instead, and we got most of the things that we need. However, that was before the mouse incident. So I think with that and the seeds I've been sent and a few of my saved seeds, which were fortunately at home, so I've got my calendula, scabious, sunflower and sweet pea, we should be okay. So yeah, so that's another lovely thing. So what else? So the things I have got to do now, I mean, I'm waggling my foot round. I don't know if you can tell that. I need to put both. I fidget too much. What I need to be doing now, because it is only the first week in January, but as I'm sure many of you are aware, there's people who are planting seeds already. Leeks and onions have gone in, broad beans have been in for months, garlic, all this. I have got my garlic in, that's about it. Leeks and onions, not yet, hopefully this weekend. But ever want to catch up with everybody else and lag a little bit behind, I haven't actually started planning my garden this year yet. I have in here, I know just what I want in here. I have done a few little sketches on the backs of envelopes, but I haven't actually written anything down. So I know the next week or two, I do want to try and be ahead of the game this year. So I'm going to be looking through my old garden planners And I've said before, you know, do keep a garden planner. It doesn't have to be a big posh one. I mean, I considered that a big posh one, but it's now covered in soil. But it's been really, really useful. Just, it doesn't have to be like that. There was another one I got, a beautiful one that, look, has suffered from a bit of damp in the shed. And that's even got my pressed flowers in. Can you see those from last year that I haven't used up yet? So instead of dipping back into those books, I think I'm going to start fresh with a nice clean page, completely blank book, so I can scribble things down, and it's easier to sort of carry around. It won't be in my pocket. Well, it might be in my pocket, but in my little basket or something. Take it up to the allotment with me every time I go, and make sure I bring it back with me as well. So that's all in my bid to be more organised. That was basic. That was a nice Christmas present, so it's a good use for that. So what else, Jane? Oh yeah, and the other slightly gardening thing that I've got to get done before everything starts to go mad outside. My poor old daughter, in between everything that's going on at the moment and all the madness, is actually moving house. And we have become the custodians of her dear houseplant collection. Now, she's moved from a ground floor apartment with only one windowsill and that faced north. So these poor plants have had a tough time. So we're looking after them now for the next few weeks. And I just think I'm going to have to do a little bit of repotting. That one's actually not too bad, but dry as old bones in a little pot. She's got a lovely pot holder for it. But look at this one. I mean, I don't know how this one made the journey so far. Is that a lucky bamboo in a bit of foil? It's lucky that it's still alive. But there's things like this, look, and I'm sure she won't mind you showing you this. You know, and even if I repotted that and gave it some lovely new compost, it's not going to look much better. So what I think I'll do, I might cut it right back, try repotting it, and then try and revive some of these end bits here as cuttings, so that hopefully by the time she moves house, if that ever happens, we never know at the moment, do we? She's going to have a few happier looking plants than how they arrived. I think we're all feeling a bit like that at the moment, aren't we? But never mind. But that's a sort of garden-y thing to do. So that might get me back used to actually potting things up and get my hands in the compost, which is just right in front of me there. So yeah, I've got no excuse to not get on with that. But yeah, that was it. That's what I've been up to. Basically hibernating, like I say, hibernating, working from home, which I'm fortunate enough to be able to do, and a bit of reading, bit of crafts. I know as soon as we get a spring type day, this will be put in the UFO basket. And yeah, and my whole thoughts will turn towards sowing and planting and digging and getting out there in the sun. So yeah, that's it. I told you it'd be a short one. I think it was a short one. I've got the clock behind, but I've no idea what time I started. So yeah, let me know how you're getting on. Like I say, it's just really a touch base video to let you know I'm still here. I'm still around. I'm looking out at the backyard now, actually. There's so much needs doing out there. I've got to the point with my backyard and back garden, because we're in a Victorian house. And so you've got a yard first, and then you step out into the garden bit. It's not very big. Where, because we've been spending all our gardening time up at the allotment really for the last few years, the garden has now taken on quite a personality of its own. And that personality is what I would call wild. It's it's beautiful. It's really, I think, let's say mature. It has matured quite nicely, but it certainly needs some TLC. I mean, it's absolutely, at the moment, it's heaving with sparrows and a few blackbirds. And so I can just sit here for ages and watch them flit around. You know, they're lovely to see. But I do feel a bit guilty, because if I start cutting it back, where are they going to live? It's one of those things, isn't it? I've got a clematis, which is so big now, it goes over our wall and down the neighbour's wall, and they love it. But in order to keep leaves and flowers on our side, I'm going to have to cut it right back. Well, I don't know how many sparrows we've got nesting in there, but there's quite a few. And of course, soon it'll be nesting season. So when do you do it? When do you cut your clematis back? I know you're supposed to do it in the spring, but what about the poor old sparrows? What do you do? I don't know. Gardening. It's life and death. Anyway, I am rambling now. I promised you it would be a short one. It is a short one. I do hope you're well. I do hope you're managing to keep your spirits up. Think about the gardening year behind. You could think of the gardening year behind, but even better, think of the gardening year ahead of us. And just know that we'll soon be back into the whole rhythm, that wonderful, wonderful rhythm of nature and of seasons and of gardening and looking after each other. Okay, so I'm going. So Happy New Year again. Let me know what you've been up to in the comments below. Facebook page has been going right through the winter, so if you want to have a look at that, details below. Instagram page below, all the details are there. But I'm definitely going now. So bye for now, and I'll see you soon.